Hi, how's it going? Just had a live conversation with Daniel there, but they were having some technical issues. So we're just going to restart again. Have to go back to the sort of earphones setup. So hopefully we get people back on board again, and there's no issues. I'm just going to add Daniel to.
Hello,
Testing.
can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So I just
Sorry, it
I
was just so
first,
hard to try and concentrate on what I needed to
yeah.
answer with my voice coming back at me.
Yes. So
But
did
I will
everyone
say,
you can hear everyone okay?
I can hear you perfectly. But I will say that when we dropped out just then, I had 3 text messages from people saying what a great conversation.
Yeah. And obviously, we got caught up in the fact that there was technical issues with sound and stuff, but maybe where we were going, the flow was quite good. So it would be good to sort of go through that again. So obviously,
Where were we
Daniel
up
didn't get
to?
this. Yeah. Sort of just introduce yourself again, Daniel, because I'm conscious that we're sort of going back again. So yeah, just
All
do a
right,
wee quick intro.
so I'm Daniel. I run Life Changes You podcast. It's available everywhere. I talk to people about their lives, about how they started, what they do, why they do it, um, who inspired them, why they inspire me. Lots of really interesting people have been on there. And actually, there's, I think the 90th podcast went up last weekend. I've recorded another 11 so far. I've got another 22 ready to record. So you'll be with me for a little while if you're listening, because
Yeah.
I think I've recorded now. Well, there will be up to about 130 by the time I finish recording those ones. And new ones keep coming in every day as well. So it's just exploded this year, which is great. Like last year during COVID, it was good, but I had a few people drop out from interviews because they didn't want to do them over Zoom and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then this year, I started using Instagram more to promote the podcast, and the podcast promote Instagram, and Instagram promotes the podcast. So it's like a two-way street. It's really good. They're both promoting each other. I'm
Yeah.
getting lots of listens, lots of new people, lots of offers. So how can it go wrong? Well, it could.
Yeah.
People could get fed up with the sound of my voice.
Yeah. So it's quality as well, Daniel, because obviously I came across you, by the podcast and things like that. So it's great that me and you are, we obviously have built a good connection with each other. So your profile is quite good. What's something that you're actually wanting to achieve further down the line with the profile?
With the profile or the podcast or both?
Both. Sorry, both. Podcast profile.
Well, look, I would like to keep interviewing people. It doesn't matter who they
Yeah.
are. If they're someone who lives next door to someone, if they're a superstar. As I was saying before, this guy who's a DJ on this week's podcast, he had a couple of huge Latin house music tracks, and he remixed for people like Britney Spears, Michael Jackson. So he's
Oh,
someone really out there who's
yeah.
well known. And now, being a neuro-linguistic programmer, practitioner, he's really starting to do different stuff there. And he said that he started to do that because he realized he was bipolar. He came out on TV and said, I've got bipolar. And he says in the interview, he lost a few friends because they were worried about what was bipolar. He got it all sorted, had therapy, started some medication. He's back on track. He's doing music again. Meeting people like that and hearing their stories, if one person with bipolar out there hears that story and realizes that, yes, you can get back on track. And I know there's a myriad of different medications that are out there and some don't fit. I think you just need to persevere, because you can get to a good place in your life and you can manage whatever mental illness you have.
Yeah.
And there are people out there that can help you in therapy. There are podcasts out there that can help you by covering different topics, not necessarily mine, but other ones. And it's all free advice out there. And
Yeah.
I think the good thing about a podcast, I listen to loads of them now, and I get lots of people sending me podcasts saying, hey, can you listen to this and tell me what I'm doing right or wrong? And usually
Yeah.
I say to them, you're not doing anything right or wrong. You're doing what you want to do, and what you're saying
Yeah.
is important. So just keep going the way you are. Because, look, I'm coming up to, well, I've done 90 now. I've been doing the podcast for 2 years, Instagram 6 months. And it's really starting to click with people. And I think on Instagram, the positive nature of stuff that I put up really resonates with people, especially now coming out of COVID, being able to do more things. They want that little spark each day to make them go, actually, this isn't too bad. Or actually, yeah, I need to set a goal. Or, you know, it's all general stuff that can help you to plan your life out better. And I think also the big thing for me is being my age now, 50, people look at me and go, well, he must know what he's talking about because he's so old.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. I know. I'm actually the opposite. People look at me and say, oh, he's only in his 20s. He doesn't know anything. But then, then you get into a conversation, and I would say I know quite a lot. But in terms of, you know, what you're saying there, there's something powerful about storytelling, you know, like there's something that, you know, really, really sort of resonates with people and people can connect and relate to when it comes to storytelling. And that's something, you know, even on my own profile, I've tried to, everything I share is either something I've read, something I've listened to, or a life experience that I've had of my own.
And do you know what? Your life experience is the best thing you can draw on, because when you're telling that, you're telling it from your heart. And it doesn't matter if 100 people listen and 30 people go, I think he's a bit up himself. I think he thinks, you know, he's too good. Someone will hear that out of those 100 people and go, that makes sense. So for every 100 people you speak to, if you just get one person out of that that says that's a valid point, and you then start having thousands of people listening to you, and they all take one little bit of information and run with it, how much better will the world be? And
so much
not
better.
necessarily my podcast, your podcast, what you do, what other people do on podcasts. Everybody needs a little prompt. And if you hear something and you go, that's great, that's what I need to do, it changes your whole life. It doesn't just change you for today, it changes your whole life. I've
and
talked
I think
to you
as well
about having fibromyalgia and being 6 months not being able to do hardly anything. And I realized I couldn't spend my life in bed. And I'm not saying to people who have fibromyalgia, you need to get out of bed and start doing stuff. But I just knew myself, I had to change my mindset. I started studying, I started my counseling. I went all through the counseling. I've done life coaching, so many courses. And I did all that because I needed to boost myself back up so that I could be at a place where, yes, I still have fibromyalgia, but I don't let that be my defining part. My defining part is how I help people.
I think that's something that's very, you know, good knowledge there that you can share with the world, Daniel, which is a lot of people will say, I have something, and then that makes me this type of person. So may it be, I don't know, I'm not saying that the world's perfect and you can just overcome things overnight, but if you give the ownership to that in terms of, if you were to say, for example, you know, I have anxiety, then you're giving the power to the anxiety. You're almost like saying that you are that person. I am anxiety, you know, or whether it's be bipolar or alcoholic or whatever sort of issues that people have. There's something in there where it's an aspect of you. It's something that grinds you down. It's something that's trying to take away your happiness in life. But
and all those things
are
real and legitimate.
Yeah.
However,
definitely
every question has an answer. There is always a way to find a solution to something, and it might take you. Look, when I realized I was sick and I was studying, it didn't mean that I just miraculously got better. I've still got fibromyalgia. I've got chronic fatigue. But what I did is over those 2 years, I worked to get myself better to a place where I still feel sick. I still have pain, but I learned to manage it because there's other things I need to do. I need to run my business, do the podcast. I help out with my mum who's not well and older. You know, and when you have a reason, those other things, even though they're still there, they don't come up so much because they're not at the forefront of your mind because you've got other things you need to focus on.
Definitely. That's powerful. I was just caught in amazement there what you were sharing. It was just so passionate, which is quality. I think there's something in what you were saying as well. You know, like see, once you just like be true to yourself, and that's something that I would sort of. I was going to say preach to people, but I'm not a preacher. I wouldn't preach to people. No. I would always sort of encourage people to be like, just be true to who you are, and if you can be that person, you know, like. give to others, and you'll receive as well. And if you be a good person, then you'll be around good people. You know, and I think it's something powerful that you can take on board into life.
And also, I mean, you say if you're a good person, that doesn't mean you have to be a good person every day of the year. You can have bad times, but you just have to realize that what your core values are and what you're really passionate about. And for me, working in disability, working in mental health is what I'm really good at. I know what I'm doing, and I see the results in the people that come to me. I don't have a huge business, which is good, because smaller means they get more attention, 1-to-1, 1-to-2 ratios. But every day I come home from work and I've got something positive that's happened in that day. It might be that I have to really look for that positive thing that happened, but there is always something positive. And if you can always find a glimmer of hope, a piece of glitter from the dust, you know, you can continue on.
Yeah, no, definitely. And sometimes, you know, just adding to what you're saying there, Daniel, sometimes you just got to take a step back and see the sort of bigger picture that's going on. You know, like, for example, you could have, you know, I need 10 things that I need to do today. And sometimes by doing 2 is okay, you know, and sometimes if you do 8, happy days. But I think the thing is, you know, it's not about over intensely, you know, doing things and really saturating your mind as such, and intensely taking away the goodness of what's going on. And like you said there, I actually like what you said, like the sort of the glitter in the dust.
There's
so
always
that's something I'm going to take away from this.
That you can see, and you know that that's been a good thing. And it could be something that's a second for the day, and the rest of your day is awful. But if you hang on to that second, the rest of the day isn't so bad.
Yeah.
And we can all what I'm going to actually
do. What I'm going to actually do, Daniel, is I'm going to do a wee experiment just with people who's watching, and I'm going to do a call to action. And what I would like you to do is, I would like for you today, tomorrow, in the next couple of days, to do something for someone else, right? And I want people to do it for someone else, or you can do it for yourself that you've maybe never did before, or do something different. And just pop myself or Daniel a message and say, look, I did this, or what you took from it. So I just wanted to, that's a wee off the cuff thing, Daniel, there, to just be like, you know, people who are watching.
And look, that's one of the 10 keys to happiness, is about helping others and doing stuff for other people. Just speaking to someone like the cashier at the supermarket, you know, they might not speak to anyone all day. They might just serve customers. You speak to them, that changes their whole day for them.
100%, definitely. And I know myself and yourself were very vocal last week in terms of, you know, mental health awareness and, you know, things like that. And I would say, us, you know, both of us, we would share a lot of content, which, you know, daily, which is around that. And it's good to highlight the week and stuff like that, but it's something that should be spoke about sort of commonly and common practice in your life.
Well, we should all be boosting each other up and giving everybody a reason to feel good about themselves, not putting them down so that they go away thinking, I wish I hadn't spoken to them today. And, you know, you might be having a really shit day. You might feel really crap and you don't really want to talk to anyone. But you say one thing to someone, it can change their whole day. It could change their whole life. Yeah. It's all about giving back to other people. Yeah.
And there's something in that as well. Like, do you ever be, like, have a day where it's not going well and things just aren't going for you? And then there's one wee little sort of switch where you get like a sensational feeling of saying hello to someone, or someone gives you a smile, and you're just like, that's the simple things in life, isn't it? You know, like that stuff has really, you know, resonated with me. It's changed my day. It's given me sort of, like we say, take a step back and see the bigger picture, I suppose.
And if you think about it now, we're no longer having to wear masks. So not wearing a mask, people can see your smile. So if you walk past someone in the street and give them a nice smile, they might walk past you thinking, well, that's a bit bizarre. But then later they'll think, well, that was actually nice that someone smiled at me. I'm having a crap day, but someone took the time out to turn and smile at me. So we don't expect people to do major things. We don't want you to go out and, you know, run a race for someone. We just want you to smile at people, take a bit of time to chat to them. Whatever you feel is okay, do that. Chat to your neighbour. Take your neighbour's groceries in or the paper in for them. They're going to love that.
definitely.
And don't
It's,
expect anything in return. That's the best
no.
thing. Just do it.
Yeah.